of or having assumed responsibility for the care of JBJ, born July 9th, 2013, knowingly did cause harm to JBJ, making JBJ an abused or neglected child as defined in RS 9 6-1, RS 9 6-3, and RS 9 6-8.21, contrary to the provisions of NJSA 2C 24-4A. Count 2 alleges third-degree aggravated assault. It alleges that Patrick, on or about October and November 2013, in the township of Brick, purposely or knowingly did attempt to cause or did cause significant bodily injury to JBJ, contrary to the provisions of NJSA 2C 12-1B7. Count 3 of the indictment alleges fourth-degree child abuse. It alleges that Patrick, in or between May 9th and May 10th of 2015 in the township of Brick, did inflict unnecessary suffering or physical pain upon a child, to wit, PBJ, born September 20th, 2014, contrary to the provisions of RS 9 6-1 and RS 9 6-3. Before I proceed, I'll ask the foreperson if all the grand jurors have been charged on all the applicable statutes.
Can you repeat the first statute again, 2C
24-4A2. No.
Sorry?
Okay.
We have not. Why am I not finding that one?
We did A1. It wasn't right in. It was on
2C 24-4.
4A1. And we also did 4B. Okay, it probably was the change in the statutes. We will read it, but it was changed to do the 2 subsection, but it's all encompassed. Endangering the welfare of a child. A. Any person having a legal duty for the care of a child or has assumed responsibility for a care of a child who, subsection A, engages in sexual conduct which would impair or debauch the morals of such child, that's A1, or A2, who causes the child harm that would make the child an abused or neglected child as defined in RS 9 6-1, RS 9 6-3, and PL 1974, Chapter 119, 9 6-8.21, is guilty of the crime of the second degree. Any other person who engages in conduct or causes harm as described in this subsection to a child under the age of 16 or 18 after July 1st of 2013 is guilty of the crime of the third degree. Okay? And have you been read the neglect and abuse 9 6-1, correct? And 9 6-3? Okay. And you said you already had subsection D, correct?
12-1B7?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just, yeah. Thank you. Hi.
Good morning. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning, Sergeant.
Good morning.
Can I ask you to state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Jason Steele, Steele.
And where are you currently employed?
The Ocean County Prosecutor's Office.
And in what capacity and what unit are you assigned?
I am a sergeant in the Special Victims Unit.
Directing your attention to May of 2015, did you become involved in an investigation concerning lacerations to the face of an 8-month-old infant?
Yes, I did.
Specifically, did a Casey Thomas, a daycare employee at the Kitty Academy, contact the Division of Child Protection and Permanency regarding injuries to Patrick?
Yes.
Representatives of the Division of Child Protection and Permanency had responded to the Kitty Academy and took photographs of Patrick's face and forwarded those photographs to you. Is that correct?
That's correct.
As a result, you and Detective James Burgess of the Brick Township Police Department went to Kitty Academy on May 14th of 2015. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And Kitty Academy Daycare is located in Bricktown.
Yes.
Now, Miss Casey Thomas relayed to you that on Monday, May 11th of 2015, Patrick brought to their daycare by his mother, Alicia. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And
Yes.
Patrick's mother is Alicia.
That's correct.
And Patrick's father is Patrick Jeanty. Is that correct?
Correct.
And Patrick Jeanty.
Correct.
So in May of 2015, Patrick Jeanty would have been approximately 35 years old, correct?
Correct.
Now, Mrs. Thompson relayed to you that Janelle Javelina, Jovinelly, which is one of the teachers at the Kitty Academy Daycare, relayed to her that Patrick on his left cheek area of his face. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mrs. Thompson indicated that she called Alicia to ask about the Band-Aid and whatever injury was under it, and Alicia told her that she awoke between 2 or 2:30 a.m. that morning because Pat screaming, crying, and bleeding. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mrs. Thompson indicated that she believed the injury, Mrs. Bauman, Jeanty, indicated that she had believed the injury to be a fingernail scratch, but requested that Mrs. Thompson reach out to Mr. Jeanty because he was the one who was with the child at that time. Is that correct? Mrs. Thompson then called Patrick.
Correct.
Mr. Jeanty Jr. told Mrs. Thompson that Patrick woke up at about 2 a.m. for a bottle and scratched himself on the cheek. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Mrs. Thompson indicated that within a few minutes of that telephone call, Mr. Jeanty arrived at the daycare, and at that time, Mr. Jeanty observed that the daycare facility had removed the Band-Aid from Patrick's.
Correct.
Mrs. Thompson indicated that she questioned Mr. Jeanty regarding his explanation, correct?
Correct.
Mrs. Thompson indicated that Mr. Jeanty maintained his story even after she showed him that Patrick's fingernail not have caused such a mark by using her own arm as a demonstration. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mrs. Thompson indicated that Mr. Jeanty then stated, well, maybe the injury was a result of a toy, but he wasn't too sure. Is that correct?
Correct.
Mrs. Thompson indicated that she told Mr. Jeanty that neither Pat's fingernails or a toy would cause such an injury. Is that correct?
Correct.
You also had the opportunity to speak, correct?
Correct.
Ms. Bowman Jeanty indicated that the injury to Patrick's cheek occurred sometime between 2:30 and 4:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. Is that correct?
Correct.
Alicia indicated that she had fallen asleep on the couch in the living room with her 12-year-old son, Paul Joe, and that Patrick was sleeping in his pack and carry in the living room as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
Alicia indicated that when her husband from work at about 2:30 a.m., she went into her bedroom and her son Paul went into the other bedroom to sleep. Is that correct?
Yes.
Alicia indicated that her husband was alone in the living room with Patrick. Is that correct?
Correct.
Alicia indicated that she was half asleep when she heard screaming. Is that correct?
Correct.
Alicia indicated that her husband then brought Patrick into the bedroom and told her that the baby must have scratched himself. Is that correct?
Correct.
Alicia indicated she cleaned the cheek and put Patrick back to bed and to sleep.